Hey guys, welcome to this new iteration of the development blog of Blockhood. It's been a while, so I really want to show you what we have been working on. So this is version 7.3. Version 7 is when we have introduced the agents. So you'll see inhabitants now part of the game. As you can see, we have a few changes to the UI and the main menu. So challenges, we have been maybe slowly so far building a few more challenges. You're gonna see additional challenges, and this area, it's gonna start getting populated as we go. But we're really trying to kind of finish all the content of the game before we really gonna move much more into this area of challenges, as we often have to backtrack and rebalance challenges once we do balancing between different tiles or balancing between different conditions. So it's sometimes a little bit of a kind of double work to move forward in the challenge section and do many more challenges while we haven't finished doing all the blocks. So yeah, but still we're kind of introducing more blocks. We have been solving some bugs in the previous one, so you'll see differences in many of those as well. The sandbox mode, you'll see that this new version we're starting to introduce what is going to be the world system. This is not yet implemented. As you kind of switch between these two tabs, you'll see that the world system is under construction, but version 0.8 will introduce the world system, hopefully for around E3 or so. Tutorials, the same tutorials. We're gonna be adding more tutorials, but right now we have been focusing on adding a lot of content in different areas. The loading screen, this is whenever you play now, you could actually load straight in your hoods, as we're calling them, and the difference between hoods and world, you'll see them as we implement the world, right? So right now the world load, it's not implemented, but you can load all your save files from the main menu, which is something that people have been asking for. So let's jump into the sandbox, as we often do, and really look at some of the changes. So here we are. So as you've seen, we have this new tab. We have this new tab with advanced production. This tab, it's kind of temporary right now. We're gonna actually move it somewhere else and reorganize this UI, because it's as we keep adding new tiles, we're kind of trying creatively to find ways of organizing them better. So that might change, but for now we're adding them in this kind of new section, which is advanced production, advanced buildings, advanced organics, and yeah, advanced public space, right? So as you can see here, we have different kind of farmers markets. These are new tiles. We have a solar tree, which is kind of an urban space where solar panels are actually elevated, and you also have a little bit of a bench area. You have these food truck, very cute food truck, and you have some sports like basketball, like half a court, and soccer, so you can actually build your full court if you decide. That's up to you. Production, we have a bunch of new ones as well. Ethanol, distillery, and we're really trying to introduce a lot of new farming tiles. And you see that corn tile. Here we have the normal corn farm, but you also have a GMO corn farm. So you will actually start kind of going into, do you want to do industrial production of food, or do you want to do organics? And this is something that you will be able to kind of follow different chain of productions depending on your interests. We also have these kind of cow farms, pig farms, and CAFOs, again, more industrial versions of cow and meat production. It's up to you if you want to go through the ecological route, or if you want to kind of explore the industrial world. So we're giving you options there as well. Winery, cellar, and fermenter. These are kind of different areas that allow you to kind of create the production of wine. Also, lots of interesting areas that have to do with farming and farming ecologies, which will really add some new depth to the game. Then we have new buildings, and obviously this is all blocks that we want to finish for the final release. This is what we've set up to achieve. We have restaurants, a fine restaurant that allows you really to kind of bring meat and wine into the table and create culture and money, and it's more expensive and so on. But also, like, we're starting to introduce a different kind of building unit, that it's a much more kind of like a slum building unit. And you may not want to do this, but there's going to be narratives, or there's going to be stories that have to do with how these tiles, interact with the rest of your building, and you might need them, or you might have to deal with them in some challenges and so on. So organics, we have a lot of work here to do with organics, but let's dive ahead, and I'm going to show you how to create some inhabitants. These are supposed to be secrets, I guess, or discoveries, but I'm going to show you how to do one. So I could just like start introducing some of the concepts and how we're kind of building them, and what's coming from that area. So I'm going to just look at my resource panel. I obviously want to create a little bit of a base of both leisure, fresh air, and some water for those trees. Right, so we should be fine with like maybe 4, and some electricity. Right, so this will give us the base for the production of our environment. Right, so if we go ahead and create some buildings, those buildings should have enough resources to sustain, and they're creating labor, so we can actually create some retail shops. So I'm going to put these retail shops over here, and maybe I'm missing a few consumers, and I'm going to put some consumers here. There we go. So we have a little bit of a kind of a commercial street with some like units and some like housing units. Everything in the first row, in one level. We're not necessarily going up yet. But see, I just unlocked a consumer, right? So what happened here? We have an inhabitant, and this is what we introduced in version 0.7, which is the idea of inhabitants. And inhabitants are like different kind of people, both people and animals. And you see that we unlock the deer here, and the deer appears in the forest. If you provide the right environment, you will be able to see these animals, right? So what is the habitat for a human? A human requires, in this case, an apartment building, right? So a home, and in this case, a retail shop. That it's going to be a place to either work. In this case, it's a consumer, so it's actually like a place to shop. So that's kind of like what defines the environment for this inhabitant. This inhabitant right now, it's rather random in terms of its movement, but we're also kind of building more and more intelligence into their behavior. So they should be walking to like shop and go back home and so on. But there's lots of different inhabitants. In this case, for instance, the deer is it was appear because there's a specific kind of tree with a specific kind of an amount of areas of grass surrounding it, right? So you're providing the habitat for this particular agent to exist, right? You'll see that many of the inhabitants that we will introduce in the game, they're going to have more and more complex requirements. So it's going to be a discovery mechanic that would allow you to really to start populating your neighborhood depending on what you create, right? So you can go into the post menu and see here the inhabitants database, and you'll see that you have unlocked two. The consumer, it tells you what is the habitat and also the deer, but we have all these different ones right now. Many of these, the ones that have a silhouette, have been implemented, so you can find them. The ones with a question mark are the ones that we're still working on. And this list, again, is a list that we want to keep increasing. So this is going to become much more sandboxy in a way. Like hopefully we'll get to a point in which the agents or these inhabitants really have interactions with one another. So we're really kind of trying to address the idea of coexistence. How do you allow some of these guys either live or avoid the existence of other species and all that stuff. Also different lifestyles in terms of jobs, in terms of like kids somewhere here. Like, I mean, I don't want to spoil any of the content that we've prepared for you, but there's going to be a lot of interesting narratives emerging from what you create. Hopefully some of them will be unexpected. So yeah, stay tuned and keep trying to search of how to create those environments for those agents. And basically, that's what we have in this version of the game. If we go back to the main menu, you like the challenges, the new challenges. As I said, they start getting more complex. We've added in the challenges things like something that was quite requested. Let me show you maybe a challenge here. So this one, for instance. So we have a challenge tracker, right? So now you can actually see very well what have you done and what you have like you're still missing, right? So and also challenges now we're gonna start having kind of pre-built stuff, right? So we are giving you like a framework to work with. These often would be tiles that might not be available to you, right? So you have some tiles that are available to you through the system, but maybe some of the things that you create or they're existing already, they're not part of your of the things that you can build. So you have to work together with what exists and what it's provided to you in order to kind of fulfill the requirements. And this really adds a new kind of dimension to the challenges, and hopefully those are going to start becoming more and more interesting. Many of those are really still working much more of a tutorial or kind of teaching more the mechanics of the game, but as we move forward we're going to really kind of address some more complex issues that have to do with the real world in some degree. So hopefully you'll enjoy those. And yeah, that's it for this dev blog. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon.